Hello, 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 everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh, I was going to do my hump day thing, but it's not time yet. That is for tomorrow. Welcome to Paper Route, everybody. We have a really dope show today. If you didn't know, we have Travis Kelce joining us a little bit later on today in the show, so you're not going to want to miss that. We're also going to dive into all things NBA because basketball is back. I'm so excited. It's been a long offseason. How you feel about NFL is how I feel about the NBA.
Okay.
That's my thing. And we couldn't talk basketball without having my big bro Stak join us in the building. So we're going to dive into all things NBA with him. What up, Stak?
What's up, sis? How y'all doing?
Stak, what it is, baby.
He's coming from Stadium Goods, a.k.a. his closet. So we're going to go ahead and dive into all things NBA. It's going to be really, really dope. But first, we got to go ahead and just revisit Monday Night Football because the Vikings made a statement. Listen, the Niners came in off of a loss against the Cleveland Browns and their backup quarterback, and they were looking to go ahead and redeem themselves. And also after the Eagles won big against the who they play again? I'm always drawing a blank. The Chargers? No.
Who is that?
The Eagles. Who did they play again?
They just played.
Oh my God. Am I losing my mind?
The
Dolphins. The Chargers. They were looking to go ahead and secure a win for themselves because those teams right now are the top two in the NFC. But the Vikings had other plans because Kirk Cousins was dropping dimes, and he did so without Justin Jefferson, and the 49ers could not answer. I mean, B-Flow.
First off, I'm mad that B. Marshall whole dramatic speech yesterday. It came out like he was right. But as we talked about this, when the 49ers played the Cowboys, I was like, yo, I know they look like they that team, but
you did say that.
They not really that. They just had the best game they ever played. But man, Purdy, he got to get back on track because 2 games. I wouldn't say his game was subpar. I mean, he was 20 for 29, something like that. So it wasn't bad.
He did have 2 costly interceptions.
In the
fourth quarter. 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter. 1 was game deciding. So I wonder if he's going to get the Dak Prescott treatment. Probably not, because different rules apply to the Cowboys. But it is interesting because you have the 49ers. The Cowboys got blown out by the 49ers. A quote-unquote Super Bowl contender. I still think that that's safe to say. I think you're going to see trials and tribulations of all teams throughout the season, but they got blown out by the 49ers, and everybody was saying how drastically better the team is and da-da-da-da. But now you look, they lose to the Browns backup quarterback. They lose to the Vikings without Justin Jefferson. The Vikings came in, I believe, at 2-4. They're 3-4 now. So much to your point that you made, it could have been just a bad game for the Cowboys because clearly the Niners can be beaten. They have been beaten by 2 teams that are less than them. I'm just wondering if the same energy is going to apply to them that applied to the Cowboys when we lost to the Cardinals and when we lost to a Super Bowl contender in the 49ers. I'm just curious.
I mean, it ain't going to be the same energy.
Of course not.
Minnesota was in every game this year. It was one possession game. That's how they lost their games this year. They playing prime time. They playing at home. I mean, 49ers coming off a bad loss. I mean, it was starting. And then they missing Deebo Samuels.
They did miss Deebo.
They missed Deebo.
They did have Christian McCaffrey, though, was good. He had some big plays. But I just wonder if we, I'm gonna bring Stak in because he's a fellow Cowboys fan. So we're aligned. We're aligned here. We know Stak. This revenge is sweet. You know what I mean? Like revenge is a little bit sweet. How you feeling about this one? We have him? Is he frozen? No? Yes? Maybe? Is he frozen?
Yeah, he all the way
frozen.
Okay.
I was like, maybe he's just in deep thought. All right, we'll spin the block. We'll get Stak back. Yeah, I mean,
did y'all
there
freeze
you go.
up?
You froze up. There you go. Stak, revenge is sweet. How you feeling, fellow Cowboys fan?
Bang, bang, Niner gang, huh? I'm so glad. I'm so glad that they lost 2 games in a row. Dak is not going to get the same treatment. 1, because he's with the Cowboys, and 2, he's black. He ain't going to get the same treatment as Purdy. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come down way harder on Dak. But, we the Cowboys, we have high expectations every year. But one thing I will say to be real, the 49ers are going to be a problem. And, I hope we don't have to see them when it's time to get to the Super Bowl, because they're just a different team, and their defense is just on another level. Even though they lost the last 2 games, I think at the end of the season they're going to be ready to play that playoff style of football. So yeah, I'm happy they lost, because it helps us stay in our division and continue to play well. But for the most part, I don't even want to see them at the end of the season.
The concern, though, is that Purdy was always careful with the ball, right? And now that he turning the ball over, is kind of, hindering his offense, because the 49ers always played a clean game, right? That's what made them so hard to beat. Like, they're not going to take a lot of sacks on offense. They're not going to turn the ball over. They don't give up big plays. So with Purdy starting to turn the ball over, I'm mad I got to take him out my top 10 now. I got to take him out my top 10.
You gonna put Dak back in?
2 losses in a row, come out your top 10.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you gonna put Dak back in? Because you were
no loyalty.
I know, no loyalty over here, Stak. Dak got to play again for me to put him in the top 10.
We won our last game.
Nah, I want to see him play again this week to see what I'm gonna do with that.
I mean, you do bring up a good point. I think a lot of people, the debate of whether or not Brock Purdy was a system quarterback, whether or not it was that he was really that good, or just the 49ers offense, the system was really that good. Now we see 2 costly interceptions in the fourth quarter, 1 game deciding. Some can say, oh, well, it's because he's missing Deebo Samuel, and that was a big loss. It's fair. But I think that you bring up a good point, because once the cracks start showing in a quarterback's weaknesses, I think that the tape on how to go ahead and dismantle the 49ers offense, or just a team in general, starts becoming a little bit more clear. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, I agree. Like, once you put something on tape, as being a defender playing in the league for 10 years, when you see something on film and 2 teams in a row is getting away with that, that's what we're going to attack now. Whether it's giving Purdy different looks on the back end, disguising coverages, blitzing them more, whatever these 2, the Cleveland Browns and the Minnesota Vikings did for Purdy, he going to get that all season now. Now we finna see how he adjusts when they figured him out. Because just like Tebow, when Tebow came in and nobody can figure him out, he did his thing.
Tebow was a quarterback that shouldn't have been a quarterback, but that's a different conversation.
He still did his thing his first year, but once he got figured out, that's when we knew who he really was. So I want to see who Purdy really is right now, what everybody watching.
Stat, question for you. We get the 49ers and the Eagles, and they play on, say, a neutral field. So let's say, I don't know, let's just throw Vegas out there. It won't happen, but let's just say that's the situation. Who wins?
Eagles.
Ooh, why?
They're just adding. I think the receiving core they have, the experience they have from last year. They haven't. Jalen Hurts is having his ups and downs at the right time. So at the end of the season, all his ups and downs and bad plays will be out the way, and they'll be playing well. But I'm scared of the receiving core. And the big receiver they just added, Julio Jones. I think that's going to make them even dangerous come playoff time. So I just see them being an explosive offensive team that nobody going to be able to stop.
Well, Jerry Jones spoke to the media, and he said what the Browns and the Vikings were able to do with the 49ers actually makes him optimistic regarding the Dallas Cowboys. He says they can be beaten. We should have beaten them. We didn't, but we still have a lot of good football ahead of us. So the 49ers and the Cowboys see each other again. Different outcome?
Different outcome for sure. We win every time. We just had a bad game. It's all right.
I like that. How about them Cowboys?
I'm sorry, Ash. This is not happening. Like, y'all are not beating Philly. Like, Philly finna start rolling now.
No, we saying 49ers and Cowboys meet
49ers,
again.
Cowboys.
Yeah.
49ers, Cowboys.
He said Cowboys take it.
Ooh, that's...
Yeah, we got it.
I might take the Cowboys. I might take the Cowboys. The Cowboys played their worst game last time. Like, it's not going to be the same outcome. When the Cowboys come and play, their defense always plays solid. If Dak is a streaky quarterback, if he get going early, hitting CD across the middle, getting the ball in his hands, and then get the run game going, like, the Cowboys is hard to beat. So it definitely be a different outcome.
All right.
And the loss, like we had with Diggs, people don't understand how big that was to the team. It wasn't just having him on the field. He was a leader on that team. He was a big personality on that team, and guys love running on the field with him. It brings something that gives a lot of energy to other players when he's out there. So it's just not him not being on the field. He did something to that locker room too, and you saw it the first game. And
schematically, Stak, the whole defense got to change. Like, you can just blitz everybody and let him and Stephon Gilmore just lock up on the outside. Now you got to kind of protect one corner. The ball getting out a little early because he ain't locking down on the other side. So everything has to change, and they just have to adjust to the player they have out there now. So it's going to all come together. When playoff time come around, like, y'all will be rolling.
Well, we shall see. I enjoyed a nice peaceful week. Like I said, the Cowboys were on a bye, so I wasn't stressed out this weekend. I get to be stressed out this weekend, though. Or last weekend, so I get to be stressed out this weekend as the Cowboys will go ahead and face the Rams. But today is an amazing day because basketball is officially back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long off season, but we are back in business. We got some West Coast showdowns. We got the Suns, we got the Warriors, we got the Lakers, we got the Nuggets. It's going to be just an incredible, incredible night of just NBA. So we're going to dive into some NBA conversations. First and foremost, Freaky Time, or Freak Time, as they like to call themselves. You like that nickname?
I mean, I'll go with it.
Freak Time. It's Damian Lillard and Giannis. That's the name that he gave their tandem, Freak Time. As we know, Dame Time and the Greek Freak, and that's what you get. So the biggest move of the offseason, obviously, was Damian Lillard going to Milwaukee and not Miami, as reported throughout, I feel like, the entire offseason, whether it was his agent, whether it was sources. It seemed like Damian Lillard was Miami or bust. Well, it ended up being Milwaukee or bust. But I think that Giannis was playing chess, not checkers, because he went ahead and signed a monster 3-year extension with the Bucks just yesterday after, in the offseason, letting it known via breadcrumbing that if they're not prepared to build a championship team so he can win another one and maybe a few more, that he doesn't know if he's going to sign his extension. So Stak, chess, not checkers. Giannis knows what he's doing.
And it was a smart move. He know that the team, especially where the team is, you have to make it sexy. You have to make it appealing some type of way, you know what I'm saying, to somebody. I mean, yeah, they won a championship with him, but they barely got out of that one, you know. Kyrie don't get hurt. KD don't step on the line. Giannis is not an NBA champion. So let's talk about it. So that's some real facts, and he knows that as well. So bringing Damian Lillard to Milwaukee Bucks at this time, where he's not even, Giannis has not even retouched his prime yet, it might have been the biggest move in NBA history to me, because these two guys can really do something special for the next 4 or 5 years that hasn't been done in the NBA since probably Kobe and Shaq. So I'm excited to see it. You know, I think these guys can win 3 in a row with the core guys they round them. They keep Middleton healthy. They got a great young coach who's been in the NBA, who's played in the NBA. So it's not a situation that he can't tell the players about. And I just like it all the way around. I think it was the best move they could have made, and it happened at the right time for everybody.
Do you guys think that, I mean, we never heard it from Dame's mouth, but I think him going to Milwaukee shocked everyone. Obviously, he went to a situation in terms of part of what he wanted was to go to a contender and win. In Portland, that was never the case. It was just always something in the way to stopping him from going the distance. He goes to a situation where it's a very real possibility that he can win a chip, but Milwaukee, and there's Miami in terms of, you know, living and vibes and things like that. And he made it clear, not directly, but throughout sources and his agent and things like that, that he wanted to go to Miami. Do you think initially he was as happy as he was leading on?
I mean, you know, I'm just putting myself in the shoes for a second. Say I wanted to go to Miami, and I was leaning on it, and I feel like I had a good chance to go over there and win the championship, which he did. But then everything is going south, and then all of a sudden, but you can go play with the Greek Freak. I forgot about Miami. What? Who? When? That was. I didn't even think that was. That wasn't even a thought. I always wanted to go to Milwaukee. I'm gonna tell you, because that's how quick it's gonna change, because you get to play with a guy like Giannis who probably we'll never see again. So I think when Milwaukee came into play, Miami was behind him like it never happened.
Yeah, I mean, and I think the other part of this conversation, obviously, Drew Holiday, the day before he was traded, a feature came out in, I believe, the local paper that said that he wanted to spend his career in Milwaukee, that he loves what they built, that he wants to remain there. And then in less than 24 hours, he was traded and then ended up being traded. So he was traded to Portland first in exchange for Damian Lillard. But he gets the last laugh because Drew Holiday is now in Boston, another team that is prime and ready to go the distance. They obviously signed Kristaps Porzingis. Now, I feel like it's a little bit of a swap because I feel like Milwaukee got worse defensively, removing Drew Holiday. I feel like they got better offensively. I feel like Boston got better defensively with Drew Holiday, but there's going to be some questions about how they're going to utilize Kristaps Porzingis in terms of durability, in terms of size. He's not someone who's rough and tough like a Robert Williams. Sorry. He's not somebody rough and tough like that. So it's going to be interesting how he battles down low with guys like Embiid, guys like Bam Adebayo, because as a New York Knicks fan, I know that is not his game. I've lived that life before. So, I mean, Beeflaw, I'll start with you. Looking at these two teams, if you had to go ahead and make a prediction right now, who comes out the East? Who do you have?
I'm going Milwaukee. Even without Dame, it's hard to go against the Greek Freak when he's healthy, right? But adding Dame, man, you just don't get this kind of connection between superstars, right? This is almost similar to when Bron went to Miami because they're unselfish superstars. Nobody feels like they have to be the guy in somebody's second fiddle, right? Like
that's
Dame,
a big team, though. Look at the size on that.
Yeah, Dame even made a comment like, it's crazy I'm not the best player on the team. So you can see that it's going to work, right? And Giannis can just keep getting to the rim. Dame just go ahead and keep hitting the trade ball. It's like they work. They're going to have spacing on the floor. And, man, I think this is going to be Dame's best year in the league because he a hooper. He a superstar. And every year he has to look at all these superstars playing in the playoffs, being contenders, and he like, I want to know what that feel like. So he know it's like in the grasp of his hands. It's at the tip of his fingertips. So I think, man, this Milwaukee Bucks team is going to approach this year. They're going to have one of them runs where it's going to be like, they're going to be in contention of like one of the best records ever. They're going to be that kind of team where it's like all they know is to hoop. They don't want to load manage. They just want to go out there and ball. So I'm definitely going with the Bucks.
Stak, any concerns about Kristaps Porzingis? I mean, it's going to be interesting. Although, defensively, there's a lot that he can do, hence the name the Unicorn. Offensively, there's a lot he can do, hence the name the Unicorn. But his durability has always been an issue. Like I said, as a Knicks fan, I know that firsthand. He's not the type of player that can battle down low with some of the bigger guys in the league. He's going to be food down there. So you lose a lot of that bulkiness when you get rid of Grant Williams, when you get rid of Robert Williams. How do you combat that? Al Horford, he's older. It's not like he's a spring chicken anymore. So what do they do to fill that void?
Well, let me go to say this about Drew. Two things with Drew. One, that was self-inflicted wounds. You can't put out statements like that. These teams have shown the star players, some of the best players that ever played in this game, that how they're not loyal. Shaq got traded, so they're not loyal to nobody. So you should never put out a statement like that as a player in the NBA with knowing that none of these organizations are loyal to anyone. And two, it shows what type of person Drew is because he landed in a great spot. Players that are assholes or don't have good things to say about them during the league, they don't land at places like that. So that says a lot about the player Drew is and the person he is for him to land in a good spot like Boston with the team they have. I think for Porzingis, they're going to have to, if you remember, sis, when Boston had the success against Embiid in the playoffs, what they did, they put Embiid on him and they let Robert Williams play more of a help side to be a shot blocker. And that's going to be Porzingis' role all year. They're gonna find other guys to bang with Embiid and those big guys, and he's going to have to be the help side guy because you got to remember, he is top 6, top 7 in the league in blocks every year. So that's one thing that they're going to have to really rely on. He's not the toughest, but he can shoot that ball. And I think that's a big plus for them. They can open the court more with Brown getting this money and Tatum being able to go one-on-one. They have more room to get to the rim. And they can just kick it out to Porzingis. But you're right, he's not a physical guy. But hopefully, with the experience and the minutes he's going to play and what they're expecting from him this year, hopefully he can kind of buck up and step up to the plate.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to see. I feel like, November 22nd, I believe, is the first time these teams will play against each other. That's going to be must-see TV for a multitude of different reasons. But from players who got traded to a player who's still looking to get traded, James Harden is still ghosting the Philadelphia 76ers. He is still away from the team as Philly will kick off their season Thursday night against Dame and Giannis. Now, he hasn't been present all through training camp. I think he made one appearance and he didn't do much, and he just has not been part of the team since. It is evident that he still wants to get traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, it was reported that Philly is looking for 2 first-rounders and Terrence Mann, and that's where they lost the Clippers, who disengaged and are continuing with their season, as normal. But right now, James is away from the team. Now, there are rumors that it may be not basketball related. He may be dealing with personal issues. If that's the case, I wish him the absolute best. But strictly from the basketball perspective, I feel like this is, and we had this conversation a few days ago, I'm exhausted talking about this for a multitude of reasons, because I've seen James go from Houston to Brooklyn to Philly, all situations that he wanted to go to, all situations that he forced his way to go to. And the grass wasn't as green as he thought it was, and he wanted to jump to a different team and then jump to a different team. And while I'm not going to bat for Daryl Morey, I think we have all seen over the course of the past few years, his character is extremely flawed. So when he says that he's a liar, I believe him. I 100% believe him. You don't got to show me multiple times if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. But James, you give me 7 points, 6 points in a closeout game. You don't always look like you even want to be there. You're more interested in extracurricular off the court things than sometimes it seems that you are about basketball. You want superstar treatment, but I haven't seen superstar results. I don't have a championship. I don't see you with a championship ring. I can name every city you've been to. I don't see those results. So I feel like a lot of the reason these situations don't work is because of James. So Stak, I mean, you got to look yourself in the mirror at some point and say, okay, maybe I'm part of the problem. Maybe it's not everybody. Maybe it's not everything, but it's part of it. Part of it is me.
Nah, and I definitely agree with you. I mean, one thing James knows that he has the 76ers by the balls, because they know they can't win without him. The team they have right now, you have James Harden. With the way Milwaukee and Boston got better, you don't have a chance in the East. And it's plain to see, even Miami. So you don't have a chance in the East. So he knows that he has them in a good position. And there's no team that's willing to give up all that for James Harden at this point. So like you said, he has to look in the mirror. I mean, really, he don't have to look in the mirror, sis, because unless he's just willing to lose all his money, he could stand there and stand on this pivot and say, I'm not coming back until y'all trade me. And he might not never play another game in the NBA again. Because that's what it's looking like. And, but this is, it kind of feels, like I said, it kind of feels good too, because we just talked about Drew Holiday writing a letter to a team saying how he want to spend the rest of his career, and they trade him. So I love when players kind of play pull and tug with the teams and show how much control they have over the team, whether they win or lose or not sometimes, because they do that to players so much and dangle them around with saying, if you don't want to play here, we'll trade you, but we'll send you to the worst team in the league and kind of ruin players' careers. Mm-hmm. So it feels good sometimes, but as a player and if I was on that team, I'll be hot, because like I just said, look at all these teams getting better, and we sitting here wondering if our best player is going to even be here. It's a fucked up feeling.
So Stak, I'm glad you touched on that a little bit, right? Because myself, B. Marshall, Ash was in the studio. We was going back and forth on, is Harden right, for sitting out, holding his ground. And I was saying, being in the locker room, right, and we all don't know what happened. I know he kind of crying wolf a little bit, because how you said, Ash, you wanted out of Houston, he went out of Brooklyn. That's what we know from Harden, right?
The way he got out of Houston was hilarious, though. One minute he's fat, next he's skinny. It was actually very impressive.
But like that, those is past situations. Yeah. But here, right, he restructured his deal, and allegedly, we just trying to put a situation here. We're just thinking Morey said, we go take care of you on the back end. And like with a handshake, like, we'll take care of you. If you don't take care of me, I don't care like what it's looking like on the outside, like man to man, businessman to businessman. I am not showing up.
But like, that's where we start to disagree, because you say businessman to businessman, but business wise, Daryl Morey's not signing the checks. So I can go ahead.
Don't promise me that.
I can give you a handshake agreement on good faith, but that's also dependent on what you do on your part. Nobody just hands money away. James Harden gave us 8 points in a closeout game. How do you even expect somebody to go to the front office and say, we need to give this guy a supermax? They would look at him like he was crazy.
Because that's what you told me. I don't care what my performance was.
Daryl Morey been doing it. We've been together for a while, Daryl Morey, and we've never brought a championship together. So what make you think it's going to be different? You have promised me things. We do have a relationship. The whole world know we got a relationship, and they do a lot of snake business. James just calling them on their shit and they probably haven't been done before because everybody thought that him and Daryl Morey relationship was so tight. But when you promise things or you say certain things, and we say got a good relationship where I'm leaving teams to come play for your organization where you at, and you promise me something and you go against it because of what the other team's saying or because of what the media is saying, I'm gonna call you on it. And I think that's what's happening.
I think absolutely he should call him on it. I mean, we've heard stories with the Chris Paul situation when you know Daryl Morey said he wasn't going to trade him, and then he was traded within that week. We've seen this story before. Ben Simmons, Daryl Morey. I mean, his character is out there. All I'm saying is that if James holds down his end as an athlete in that series against Philly, in that series with Philly, I believe that if this situation were, because right now we're speculating, we weren't part of that conversation. We wouldn't be talking about it. We would not be talking about it. And if we were talking about it, everybody would be pro James Harden. Because it's like, James Harden went out there. He left everything on the court. Joel Embiid was not 100%. He gave effort every single game. He was trying to make something out of nothing. And you hear this story about Daryl Morey. Now he's the bad guy. Nobody's looking at James sideways. And I guarantee you the trade market for him would be drastically different.
But
drastically different.
You can't go from 40 to 6 points. You can't go from 40 points to 6 points in the playoffs. Like, you can't do that.
But Stak, that's been his career. That's what Harden has been doing throughout his career. So it's like, yeah, we want it to get better, but it's like, that's what I've been showing in my whole career. So more, you knew what you was going to get. So don't get pissed now that you're getting what I have been doing my whole career in the playoffs, and then now you just don't want to. Like, nah, you said you're going to do this for me, do this for me.
Well,
I'm sorry.
We will see what happens with James Harden. Like I said, the 76ers play on Thursday. It's probably accurate that we won't see him there, but crazier things have happened. Speaking of crazy, 21 seasons in the NBA. Sounds like a lot of time. Well, that's because it is. LeBron James is about to play his 21st NBA season after taking the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals last season. Now, LeBron is approaching 40 years old, but shows no signs of slowing down. As you know, he made it very, very clear and has made it very, very clear that he wants to play with Bronny. And if you watch that Beats commercial that came out yesterday, Savannah says, well, we gonna have you play with Bryce too. So you're going to do it again. He's going to be in the league till he's like 55. Stak, I mean, this is a long time. I know you tired just thinking about it.
Yeah, I mean, this is people are starting to understand what Braun was set out to do. His whole plan was a longevity play. That was his play from the jump. You know, play as long as I can, and just be the king of the game as long as I can. I think you know, in all actuality, Braun knew he wasn't a better scorer than Jordan and Kobe, but he knew we've never seen a guy that had all the attributes of a basketball player that was built like him ever, you know what I'm saying, with the basketball IQ he has. And the longevity that the longevity play was something that I know he thought about before he got into the NBA. You know, I don't know if playing long enough to play with his sons was something he thought about, but I know being in the league 20, 25 years, I know that's something that I'm pretty sure that's something Braun thought about when he started out his career. And he's doing everything everything and more that he planned out to do.
Well, let's address the elephant in the room here, B-Flow. All right, the West, we got the Suns. They got a little bit of a super team, if you will. They're big three. You got the reigning champs, the Denver Nuggets. The Sacramento Kings are a team you got to look out for. They're prime and ready to start making some noise. You got the Dallas Mavericks, who I think are going to be drastically better this season. You got Grant Williams in the mix. That's going to give you a defensive edge. You got a whole season of Luka and Kyrie. You also have the Memphis Grizzlies. I know John Morant will miss 25 games, but that's a young team. Now they got the veteran leadership of Derrick Rose, Marcus Smart. Can we fathom the Lakers winning another one?
When you got
be
LeBron,
real, be honest.
When you got LeBron, you got a chance. But in order for LA to win another championship, he can't be the guy. Anthony Davis have to step up and be the guy, and they have to have a great bench. They have to have a team like just everybody contributing. Like, Brian can just give you 20 to 25 every night. He's going to do that consistently. But if you think Brian will come in and give you 40, 45 on a consistent basis to be a champion, that's not going to happen.
So, okay.
So, I mean, I feel like it's not even.
I don't think they win another one.
You don't think they can win another one?
I don't think they win another one.
AD come out and have an MVP type season. Brian giving you 25.
AD's biggest question mark has never been talent; it's been availability.
But in order to win the MVP, you're available all season.
You think Anthony Davis is going to be available all season?
I mean, that's his goal. He came out and said that's his goal. So I'm gonna rock with him.
My goal was to marry Allen Iverson at one point. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Mrs. Iverson, so you know what I mean. Like, I'm just saying, sometimes. Reality is what reality is. I think that their best chance to have won another one was if Kyrie had gone to the Lakers.
So you give them zero chance.
I just think that the West right now is so stacked. It's younger. It's less injury prone on other teams. I just don't feel like the Lakers are the same dominant team in the West that they were maybe a few seasons ago. Like, the West has gotten better. And better in so many different places, so many different teams. Like, it's not so lopsided anymore where it's like you knew the Lakers were going to be top 3, top 4, top 5. Now it's like you don't really know where they can fall because there's a lot of talent to go around. I mean, Stak, do you think they win another one?
It's going to take a lot. It's going to have to be damn near a perfect season for them to win the championship. I mean, yeah, you have LeBron. You can't expect the world from LeBron. Obviously, we keep saying that, and he keeps still doing the unexpected. But AD is going to have to be a top 3 scorer. He's definitely going to have to be an MVP candidate, and like you said, he's going to have to be available all season for them to even think about winning the championship. And like you said, there's so many other teams that are better structured, not just on paper, but just as a full roster. Better structured than the Lakers to play late into the season and to win the championship. Now, the Lakers have gotten better. They got a deeper roster.
Yeah, much deeper. Younger. They're younger as well.
They're core guys.
Right.
And, yeah, you're going to expect a lot from those guys, bringing the point guard from Miami.
For sure. I definitely think that they're younger. You have Reeves, you have Hachimura, you have Gabe Vincent, but they don't. You still need your superstars to be superstars, and you can't
100%.
expect LeBron to give you Miami Heat LeBron. You can't expect Cleveland Cavaliers LeBron. You can't even expect 2020 bubble LeBron. I mean, the man's almost 40. Everything hurts. Like, he wakes up in the morning, his back hurts, his knees hurt, like his neck hurts. The man was eating fruit on the bench. He's got to keep his nutrition up. He's not a spring chicken anymore. He's like 50 in basketball years. He's been playing since he was a teenager.
So for them to win, he got to be a valuable third option. Like, he can't even be the second go-to on the team.
Nah, he's the second. He got to be. It's no third option. Russell's definitely the third option. You know what? I will say this. It's gonna be some nights. You're right. I'll take that back. Russell's gonna have to be the first option a lot of nights. Because, like you said, we don't know what AD's going to be there. Mm-hmm. And some nights you can't expect LeBron to go get 30, 40. And we've seen Russell be able to do this, and they've been talking highly about him in preseason. So Russell's going to have to step his game up. But as far as to getting them to win the championship, we're dealing with Phoenix and Golden State. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, I just feel like now. Well, I don't think that the season is going to be. I think they'll have a successful season. However you want to like gauge that. I think that there are going to be a lot of teams that have to go through them, and they're going to give teams a hard time, especially, health permitted. But when we talk championships and the gruel of how the game changes, I just don't know if, and it's no knock to him, you can't rely on only LeBron. Like, he's 40 years old. You know what I mean? In December, he'll be 40. AD got to play ball. AD is the key to their success. And I say this all the time. When AD is healthy, he's one of the best. But because you don't get that throughout the season consistently, and you get it in spurts, and even when he is healthy, sometimes you get a really dominant game from Anthony Davis, and then you see an AD that's just so passive and just so timid. You're like, where the hell is the AD from last night who just dropped 40? He doesn't give you consistency. If he can give you health, and if he can give you consistency, the Lakers could be a problem. But I don't think championship problem.
and since we got to stop judging these star players on how they play the first half of the season, because they all trying to get to the All-Star game. So they all gonna ball out that first half of the season. We got to start judging them on what they do in that second half. You know what I'm saying? Because all of them trying to get them incentives, get to that All-Star game and have that weekend and say they're All-Star because they all get money for it. But after the second half of the season, when games count and position matters, where they're going to be in the rankings and stuff like that, that's when we can tell what players are seriously stars.
What about for the in-season tournament? You think they're going to go hard for that?
hey, I actually hate that, but I think it's going to be some teams, because they say it has something to do with how it's seeding at the end. So I'm pretty sure a lot of those guys are gonna take that tournament serious. And then again, it's another incentive. They all get checks for it. So money is always a reason to play hard, and that's why they playing it.
Yeah, me and Stak hate the in-season tournament, but if there are playoff, implications, that can make things interesting.
They got to. The West so deep. Like, the West is deep. Yeah.
Well, listen, speaking of deep, the Golden State Warriors added a GOAT piece to their roster. Of course, I'm talking about CP3. Now you have Steph Curry, you have Chris Paul, you have Klay Thompson, and obviously you have Draymond Green. Now, Chris Paul is 39 years old. When we start talking about 40-year-old players, he is in that conversation. But he will go ahead and help to relieve some of that pressure off of Steph Curry, who a lot of the times was playing just these absolutely crazy games, sometimes back-to-back. And you saw that wear and tear on his body later on in the season. I mean, Stak, what are you expecting from Golden State this year?
Well, you're right. And I think not just the minutes, but as a point guard, bringing the ball up, being pressured, especially in the playoffs, then have to pass it, come off screens, and score. Like, that's a lot. Chris Paul's going to be big for them. You're going to see him and Chris Paul on the court a lot, just for the simple fact that Steph can be a point two guard. And I think that's what he's best at. Chris Paul is just one of the best playmakers the game's ever seen, one of the smartest point guards the game's ever seen. And to have that with the best shooter, with two of the best shooters ever, I think that's going to be real scary. And you know what it's going to take a lot of pressure off of, too? It's going to take a lot of pressure off Draymond on his playmaking. He makes a lot of great plays, but he makes a lot of mistakes as well. And it's not careless mistakes, it's just him being aggressive and being probably the best pass on their team before Chris Paul got there. So I'm excited to see. Did they sign Dwight Howard?
No, they did not. He had a workout, cool. But they didn't sign him. No.
Okay, for me personally, I thought that would have been big for him. But I like this team, and I like what Chris Paul brings. It's just I'm anxious to see defensively how they're gonna still succeed with having him, Steph, and Klay in the game together.
Are you surprised? Because I think I was surprised by this, that Chris Paul is actually starting. Because I think that a lot of us were wondering how the lineup was going to work, if he was going to come off the bench and relieve Steph that way, how it could possibly work with all of them on the floor, especially seeing how Steph and Draymond usually are those primary ball handlers. Now there's a lot of ball to go around. Are you surprised that Steve Kerr has him in the starting lineup?
I'm not surprised. I mean, seniority, he's been around a long time. It's kind of hard to ask a guy like Chris Paul to come off the bench. Even when he's coming to a team that's been established for a long time and has won championships, you still give him that respect. I could see if he was coming in and he was an older guy that can't play no more or is going to hurt the team more than help him. That's not the situation with Chris Paul. He's definitely going to help this team, and he's taking a lot of pressure off Steph. And I think that's scary when Steph has more time to focus on shooting the ball on offense and not worrying about bringing the offense and getting the offense together. He can just be a scorer now. And I think Steve Kerr sees that. Like I said, I'm just worried about it defensively.
All right, for the chat, for everybody, yes, Chris Paul is 38. I said he was 39. Everyone's like, he's only 38. 38, 39, 40, it's all the same thing. Like, once you get past a certain number, it's all the same thing. But Chris Paul is 38. He just turned 38 in May, so apologies. Now, on the topic of the Golden State Warriors, a report came out yesterday that Steve Kerr actually attempted to mend the situation between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green multiple times throughout last season, even asked them to have dinner together, but Draymond refused. He would not sit down with Jordan Poole to squash their beef. Beef-lo. I mean, what do you make of that? It's a little hostile.
It happened in locker rooms. Like, you're not gonna be cool with everybody you play with.
He punched him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, how can you come back from that? Like, some players will be like, we go fight every day until I win. Then once I win, we can be cool. But I mean, you've seen that throughout the interactions throughout the season. Like, Draymond will try to speak to Poole. Poole like I'm not trying to hear that, which rightfully is so. Like, you stole off on me in practice. I mean, their chemistry wasn't there. I think it affected their team last year. And some things you just can't come back from.
But
right?
you don't think, like, you're in the wrong. You punch this kid in it. I'm calling him a kid because to Draymond, he's a kid. You punch this kid in the face, and you know the punch didn't stay within the realms of the locker room because the whole world saw it via TMZ, a.k.a. the feds. Like, you know that is going to be a sore spot, a spotlight on this season. You, as the vet, don't take the opportunity to have a one-on-one dinner with this kid and say, I punched you, I'm sorry, air your grievances, air why maybe you reacted that way, hear him out, and, like, put it away. And, like, play basketball. Like, you don't have to be best friends. He doesn't have to come to your wedding, but, like, you were in the wrong. You hit him in the face.
So if everything was so black and white, black and white like that, right? If it's just Draymond old head, he punched Poole, who was the young guy, which he shouldn't have done. He should have been able to control his temper. Like, yo, this is a young boy. He just hot here. He just talking. Like, yes, I agree with that. But being in the locker room, we don't know how much this was building up. This could have been building up for months. That's fair. Jordan Poole could have been talking, and he like, all right, bro, I'm going to give you a time or two now. Like, you need to calm down. So me being in the locker room, I don't know how much was built up into that. And Draymond could be sitting here like, yeah, y'all seen me punch him, but y'all don't know what I went through with him leading up to that. So I understand everybody jumping on my back because it shouldn't have got physical here. But I've been in locker rooms where it got physical a lot of times and stuff be building up throughout the whole season that people don't know. So for the fact that Draymond don't want to sit down with him, I mean, that's just what he didn't want to do.
Stak, you think that was the right move, vet to young boy?
Not
young
to the
fella?
little homie. You don't ever do that to the little homie. I mean, you know, especially in the course of practice, because, you know, a lot of things being said in practice. You competing. You know, you say things to guys in the NBA games who you hang out with in the summer times when you competing in the game that you don't mean. Calling them the B word, all kind of stuff. So you say all kind of stuff during the course of a game that you don't mean. So when it happens in practice, you damn sure ain't supposed to go to blows with your teammates, because that screws up the locker room completely, especially when you got a dominant personality and one of the biggest teammates, one of the biggest personalities on the team is Draymond. You know, when guys might not say this, but they pick sides. They pick sides when that happens. When a fight like that, the fights in the locker room, and, you know, because to Steph and Clay's point, they felt bad for Poole because that's the little homie, that's the little brother. Like, we wouldn't have done it. We wouldn't have stole off on the little homie. But they got wars, they got history, they got championships with this guy, Draymond. So they was in a tough spot. So I feel him. Honestly, I wouldn't have never done it. I would have put him to the side, you know what I'm saying, and addressed it that way. But the dinner would have never happened with me or anybody else. If you got the audacity to hit me, we're going to fight every time we see each other until you take.
But it was Draymond refusing the dinner, not Jordan, which is the crazy part, because Draymond's the one who hit him. And I mean, Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr in the face, and they won a championship together.
Something was said that really touched Draymond.
Well, Draymond said in his podcast months later, he didn't say what it was, but he said that, you know, something was said that crossed the line, and you don't say some things, you know, to a man, man to man, or something along those lines. So for him, it did cross a line. But again, like to Stak's point, sometimes
he must have told him to suck his private, sis.
I want to ask you Stak.
That's the only thing that's out of line. That's the only thing that'll make anybody get knocked out. Inviting another man to your private place. That had to be what he said.
I want to ask you this though, Stak. In the NBA locker room, like, players don't fight a lot? Because I know you said you never put your hands on your brother. Like, y'all don't fight a lot?
I ain't gonna lie. I've seen one fight in the locker room my whole 14 years, and that was because a rookie was being disrespectful to a vet that had years old. I'm talking about, he had like 18 years in, and he said, and he invited him to his private, and the old school got off the bike and went over there and punched him. But as far as team, like, I've gotten into it with Baron Davis. I got into it with Ron Artest in the locker rooms, like, heated during the game. Emotions are high, adrenaline pumping, but we never went to blows, because at the end of the day, we understand that all this emotion is coming from we wanting to win, and we want to do what we need to do on the game. It's not I'm beefing with you, right? So And I think that's what, and we wasn't insecure either. You know what I'm saying? I think insecurity plays a lot of part in it too, because guys that I'm going to war with every day, guys that I'm playing games with, that I'm bleeding, that I'm willing to fight with, that I'm spending time with, more than I'm spending with my family during the course of a season, they can say certain things to me that I won't take personally, that somebody that I don't hang around with can't say at all. So it says a lot about their relationship, because the teams I've been on, we went out, we argued, but we never went to blows. And I think that's because of the respect we had for each other, and we rode for each other like that. But going to blows shows that you really don't rock with me like you say you do.
That's crazy to hear that, because the culture is so different. And that's why my response to this was like, maybe something happened, because in the NFL locker room, a fight between teammates is normal. Like, it's a competitive sport. Yeah, exactly. So it'll be just in a locker room or in the weight room. Like the weightlifting coaches there be like, all right, y'all go at it. And dudes be going to blows, and it's just normal for like 45 seconds. Like, all right, that's enough. Like, it was normal in the NFL locker room.
Which was the weird part, because you've seen players like go at it and really beef, and sometimes it spills over after the game, but they don't play on the same team. Like, you think Carmelo and Kevin Garnett, where he allegedly said the Honey Nut Cheerios thing, and then Melo's waiting for him at the bus or whatever. That's different. They're not teammates. Usually, you guys know in that locker room, there's a bigger picture, there's a bigger goal, and that's to win a championship. And the Warriors every year are primed to do that. So it's interesting to me that Draymond, being the vet, being a multi-time world champion with this team, knowing that this team is prime every single year to do that again and again and again, wouldn't take the opportunity to squash whatever happens from vet to little homie and just be like, look, we don't got to be best friends. Let's be cordial. Let's be respectful. Let's go win this chip. Like, it's surprising to me that that's not the route that he took. And he was just very much like, you don't speak to me, I don't speak to you. And whoever's still here when it's all said and done, may the best. Like, I'm surprised that that's the route he took, truthfully. Like,
that won't work. That won't work, sis, because they're too important to the team. If you had a guy that didn't play at the end of the bench, and Draymond, it don't matter, because we're not playing him. We're not relying on him. They're relying on both of them guys. And if you don't have that team camaraderie in the NBA, if those 7-8 guys who playing out on the same page, you don't have a chance to win.
Well, listen, on the topic of the Warriors real quick, is this the year they get another one?
I like it. I still think they need another big man. But the way Kuminga's playing, I would say, that young fella showed up in preseason. He had a great summer and averaging 20-some points in the preseason. And they're relying on Steve Kerr is really letting him rock, which I like. He let this young kid play. And I think they're going to need his athleticism, his defense, especially if they're going to play small, with having Chris Paul and Curry in the game a lot. They're going to need Kuminga. So I can see them winning another championship. They've done it with the same type of team, the same roster. They have like 7 guys on this team that won multiple championships with them. So I'm excited to see them do it again if they can.
And before we let you go, Stak, quick thoughts on the Denver Nuggets, reigning champs. I feel like they might have been the most disrespected NBA champions I can recently remember. Everyone, didn't really, I guess, uplift them the same way they have previous NBA champions. I feel like Jokic is one of the most disrespected MVPs that like we've ever seen, as if like what he's doing is not things of video games. What do you think their chances are of repeating or at least getting back there?
You know what's this? As much as I love Jokic, and he's the best player in the world right now, as much as I love him and Murray, I think Murray's going to continue to shock the league. With losing Brown, with losing Jeff Green, those guys were big. You got to think, when they were able to sweep the Lakers, because Jeff Green and Gordon were able to tag team LeBron. They had guys at that size that could play defense and guard those bigger guards and small guards. I think that what they brought to that team is really going to hurt them. I don't see them repeating. I definitely see them being at the top of the Western Conference, being a team that, that could play, that could possibly be in the Western Conference Finals, but winning the championship, I just think the core guys that they let get away from them, and Brown and Green, I think it's going to hurt them.
Well, listen, I just got a note that Stak's actually staying with us, so there's no reason to, say goodbye. So that makes me happy. I'm like, everyone's like, no, he's not leaving. Okay, got it.
I'm good.
Message received, y'all. Listen, don't move, guys, because when we come back, we're going to be talking some more NFL, and we got Travis Kelce in the building. I know everyone's very excited about that, so make sure you do not move. Tell your friends Travis Kelce is pulling up. We'll see you in a bit.
So when I first got in the league, when I was in Denver, we had all these. DJ Williams used to be on the show. He was the one passing around the Vialysis.
Cialis and
the Cialis.
That's different.
Whatever it's called.
No,
Cialis, Vialis. But we wasn't doing Viagra. So what happens is they was passing them out before the game. We was taking them because when it thins out your blood, energy, and you go longer.
I'm not talking about Cialis, and I'm talking about actual surgery.
Oh, what you saying?
Yeah, like enlargement.
Yeah,
surgery.
that's what I'm talking about, enlargement.
People be really doing that.
Yes.
I don't know nothing about that.
No, see, y'all, listen. Y'all talking about something that's gonna keep it right for 36 hours.
Yeah.
Nah, his motherfucker taking that shit so they can be that way forever.
Oh my God.
Yes.
In the league?
That's how you get suspended.
NBA?
That's how you get suspended.
People do that in the NBA?
Y'all
6'7", 6'8", I thought like.
What does that have to do with anything?
Is that a pause?
That's a major pause.
I'm just saying.
That's major.
I never heard of that.
That was kind of
He said the shoe size and that size are not clicking.
Ain't no OD.
Let's skip that
Ain't
part
no
right
OD.
there.
You heard he said I'm corny.
Let's get back to the basketball.
I'm secure in my manhood. Tell me I'm sorry.
Don't have surgery.
This is really happening right now?
Brandon. Like what? Yes.
Bro, let me tell you. Ain't nobody getting suspended for taking Cialis.
But what's the problem? But okay, let's say they doing that. What you say they doing it. What's wrong with that? Why they gotta be suspended over that? If they feel like they need to be
because it has something in there.
Yes.
It has a steroid in there.
Ingredient in
Same
it.
way
It's
if
a
you
steroid
take a
ingredient.
Okay.
a steroid.
Okay.
test.
It's no different than in the NFL. I forget the player, but there was a player who was
I can't think of their names.
trying to conceive with his wife, and she was going through, I want to say, in vitro, and she was going through the fertilization of her eggs, and he was on medication to, I think, increase his testosterone. Wasn't doing it to increase his performance. It was to have a baby, and he got suspended because the ingredient in there still comes up in a test.
Remember what Eddie Murphy said on Golden Child?
What he
They
said?
tried to sell him that stuff to help keep the yang up. What that boy say? Ain't nothing wrong with my yang.
Are you the best defensive player, or are you the best player to ever play football?
I'm not saying I'm the best player to ever play football.
What about
But
defense?
am I the best defensive player? Okay. If not, who?
Brandon?
Reggie White.
Reggie White's a great player, and I put him up there in the same class as myself. Every time I walk into a room, or I pick up a paper or something, they say, LT, hey, I see an article, they talk about all these people, and then always at the last, my name always shows up in the last sentence of the last paragraph, just before they say greatest of all time. Okay.
Hey, do you think you could have played in this era?
Yeah, if I didn't want a paycheck, yeah. Kick me out of the game every week. Now, but yeah, I can play in an era. I think I can. I mean, I am rugged enough to play in this era. I don't know. That's a hard question, man.
Could you have cleaned your game up though? The violence, the
It was
aggression.
clean. That was clean as I could get it. I was clean.
Then you can't play in this era. Then.
It might be a problem. I may have to play a different position. Maybe have to move to the inside, where it was a little easier.
To the show, everybody. Ashley Nicole Moss here. Brandon Flowers. We got Stak in the building. We also have Brandon Marshall in the building. Just in time for Travis Kelce, who's going to be joining us in just a few minutes. But first, let's talk some rookies. We got some rookies.
Got some
right?
rookies.
It is time now for Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar, NFL Rookie of the Week.
So it's time today for Yo Rookie, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar, NFL Rookie of the Week. Here are the 6 nominees for Week 7. We got Chicago quarterback Tyson Bagent, completed 21 of 29 passes for 162 yards and a touchdown in the Bears' Week 7 win. We had a Los Angeles Rams wide receiver Puka Nacua caught 8 passes for 154 yards. We got Indy wide receiver Josh Downs caught 5 passes for 125 yards and a TD in Week 7. We have Detroit running back Jahmyr Gibbs at 126 scrimmage yards and 9 receptions with a TD. We have New York Giants cornerback Deonte Banks recorded 7 tackles, 1 pass defended, and a pick in the Giants win Week 7. And Minnesota wide receiver Jordan Addison, he had 7 catches for 123 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Vikings win on Monday. So let's welcome one of the week's nominees to the show, co-star receiver, who's back with us today, Josh Downs. What's going on, boss?
My guy was good.
It ain't nothing, man. You started to be on here every week, man. I mean, that's how you feeling out there?
Man. I might as well just bring me on as a host, man. Come on.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Multitask out there. So listen, whenever you balling and you young in the game, right? Everybody loves to compare a rookie to a vet in the game. Who would you say is your comparison, current player or former player, that you say like, hey, that's kind of me out there?
Shoot, I really don't know. When I was coming out, a lot of people would say Tyler Lockett, but I don't know for sure. I feel like I just play my own game, but that people used to tell me Tyler Lockett, and then Steve Smith, and he did like a draft breakdown. He said Santana Moss, but I don't know. We'll just leave that up to what the people think.
It's always good to be a one-on-one, bro. You a one-on-one. It ain't nobody out there like you. That's why you're doing your thing right now. So, you know, you're a receiver. I'm a DB. I mean, it might not be a B flow out there that you're seeing on that island, but what cornerback you seen thus far from Week 1 to 7 that you felt like, hey, he got a little something to him out here, like the best corner you seen out there on the field that you matched up against so far?
I mean, I would just say it was kind of just surreal seeing Denzel Ward out there. He tough player, real been that since he was at Ohio State. So playing the Browns last week, going up against them. They was a solid secondary as a whole, really. I would just say they had real solid players going across the board.
I will say this, like every time you play a top, player in the opposite position, that's where you can kind of model your game. Like you be like, hey, I thought I was nice, but I'm nice. I was giving them that work out there. I was like, oh, I got a little work to do. So it's always good, man, going against the top dogs, on the opposing side of the line of scrimmage. So that's dope that you had him for yours. You went to North Carolina. Drake May, he one of the top quarterback prospects this year. Is he the real deal, bro? Or like, he just being streaky? Like, how good is he? I want to hear from you because you played with him.
Nah, he's the real deal. I ain't gonna lie. Drake May, he got the whole package. He tough too. So he's really a gamer. He's not just a guy that'll go out there just prima donna quarterback. Nah, he's really tough. He'll get them extra yards in the trenches when he got to. But he has a real strong mental, and his arm is very strong. So I'm excited for his future to see where he lands next year. But yeah, Drake May is the real deal for all the.
Is he the best quarterback in the draft this year?
Yeah, he is. I'm standing on that.
Okay, sure. You standing on it. All right, for my last question, man. Let's play a game. One word. I'm gonna name a receiver, and I want you to give me a word that describes him. Just one word. All right.
All right.
Let's go. Tyreek Hill.
Explosive.
Justin Jefferson.
Different.
Stephon Diggs.
Crafty.
Jamar Chase.
Strong.
Cooper Kupp.
Special.
Josh Downs.
Got 3 words.
Ooh.
Just like you said.
Okay, 1-on-1. I like it.
Yeah, come on.
I like it, man. But listen, thanks for joining us on the show, man. Good luck with the rest of the season. I know I'm going to see you on here next week, the week after, because you're doing your thing out there. And everybody out there, remember to vote for the Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week at NFL.com/voting/rookies. This has been Yo Rookie with my boy JD.
Yes, sir.
That ain't gonna be enough.
First of all, everybody, round of applause for B-Flow. That was his first solo interview. Absolutely amazing job. How did it feel?
Man, listen, when I first got told I had to do that, it was like, yo, we're starting in like 30 seconds. You got to do this right here. I was like, what? But I tried to hold it down. I tried to get in my Ashley Nicole Moss vibe. So.
I think you did great. And I like how you say, yo, rookie.
You like that?
Yes, it's like, you're like, I feel like I'm rubbing off on you. I like that.
For sure.
Listen, Travis Kelce is just a few minutes away from joining us. I know everybody is very, very excited about that. He is coming. Just give him a couple of minutes. He is on his way. We're setting him up. We're going to talk some Hard Knocks real quick because the Dolphins, they are one of the most exciting teams in the NFL, I feel like. And for that reason, they have been chosen to be featured as a in-season team for Hard Knocks. Now, they will start filming for the show when the team returns from their trip in Germany in early November. I believe they're actually facing the Chiefs in Germany, which will be very, very cool. This is how Coach Mike McDaniel feels about it. Listen to this.
You know, it wasn't, I wouldn't call it a team decision, but at the same time, you guys know me well enough that I steer clear of worrying about things that we can't control. So, you know, I think it's something that, you know, I conveyed to the team for the first time today. And, you know, I see some positives.
Coach McDaniel's funny, bro.
Yeah.
Half the time it's like, bro, are you even here? Are you present? Are you awake? But yeah, I mean, how do you feel about this? Quick thoughts.
I like it. They got a lot of big personalities with Tyreek. You get to see some one-on-one in practice matchups with some of the top receivers in the game, some of the top corners in the game. So I like it. Nice personalities. You'll get the weird vibes of McDaniel. So I'm looking forward to it.
In-season Hard Knocks is going to be interesting because if it doesn't work out, the season doesn't work out the way you want to, everyone's going to be analyzing that season like game film. Like, oh, look at Tua. When Tyreek sneezed, he didn't say bless you. That's why he didn't go ahead and pass that ball to him. I'm like, it's going to be like a whole.
But it's so cool for everybody to see how we prepare, like how locked in you be, like in the middle of the year, middle of the season, going into November, December. Like, I think it'll be dope.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be cool. Well, we have Brandon Marshall joining us. Brandon, are you in the building before I bring out our special guest? Is Brandon ready to go?
I am not in the building, but I am in our special guest backyard where he grew up. So I'm in Westlake, Ohio. I got the wrong memo. I thought we were going to be live, and I went where he's from. So I'm sitting here in Westlake, Ashley.
Hold on. You can't just jump out and say I'm from Cleveland Heights, baby.
Listen,
I was just born on the west side, and then family grew up over on the east side. But I do got love for all Northeast Ohio.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't recognize that voice, it is Travis Kelce in the building, probably the most famous man in football right now. Please welcome him to the show.
What's going on,
my dog?
What's going on, man? You already know me and B Marsh have been trying to get this together for a long time, man. I'm sorry it took so long, big dog, but I'm glad we finally getting on the tube together, man.
You see what superstars do, Ashley and B Flow. You see what they do. You know what I mean? He says, okay, he gonna come on this virtual one. No, in the off season, we gonna do a sit down as well.
I need it. You already know. I got to. I got to get it. You already know it's a way better vibe when you get everybody sit down in one room, man. You know,
listen,
we'll get it going.
Ashley said it. You know, you're probably the face of the NFL right now, and it's been that way since the Super Bowl. No, seriously, bro. Like, there's a lot going on, but you go back to the Super Bowl, you went on a crazy run, and you start popping up every single where. So the first question I have, a little easy toss up for you. Like, is there anything new happening in your world post Super Bowl? Anything?
Anything? There's a whole lot, baby. We're 6-1, trying to.
Okay.
Are we 6-1? Yeah, we're 6-1, trying to get to 7-1. And obviously, I got a lot of stuff going on off the field. You see me in just about every other commercial when we're on the tube. So it's been a fun ride, man. I'll say that. It's crazy what kind of doors open up for you when you win the Super Bowl. And on top of that, man, just always living life to the fullest. You know that.
Well, listen, you mentioned you guys are 6-1. You guys, meaning the Brandon. You mentioned being 6-1. Obviously, we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, and we had an interesting conversation on the show. I believe it was yesterday when talking about just how far ahead of the other best teams in the NFL are the Kansas City Chiefs. You look at the Eagles, you look at the 49ers, you look at the Miami Dolphins. I think we've seen a lot of weird games where teams that should be beaten aren't beaten and vice versa. So where would you say the Kansas City Chiefs are amongst their competition? Would you say it's a drastic fall off from where you guys are and everybody else, or is it a lot closer than people think?
I think it's always a lot closer than what everybody thinks. This is the National Football League, and it's any given Sunday for a reason. You got to come with it every single week, and that's the highs and lows that you got to go throughout the season to kind of find your team's identity and everything. And we're still doing that in Kansas City. We're still finding, ways to win with the new pieces. Even adding a guy like Nicole Harden, this thing is just the ball is just going to keep rolling. And we got 1-5 back there on the offensive side to be able to handle anything that a defense can throw at us. So it's always nonstop, just trying to evolve and keep things rolling.
So Kelce, many believe, right? You the best weapon. What's up, baby? My dog. But nah, for real, many believe you the best weapon in football right now, right? But I don't care what everybody else think. I want to hear Travis Kelce opinion on Travis Kelce and how you impact the game.
Love that.
I'll tell you what, Flo, man. I mean, you've been here. You've seen kind of this offense from when I first got here to where it is now. And I've been fortunate that I've been able to get handed that trust to show up every single week. And not everybody gets that opportunity. And I understand that with that opportunity comes a lot of responsibility to be there for my guys, to be ready every single game, to be ready to get open no matter what the defense is presenting. And I think Coach Reed has done an unbelievable job with not only myself, but letting this offense evolve into what it is today, knowing that you got a guy like Pat Mahomes back there who can do it all. He can handle everything from the game mentally and physically. And it's definitely become a unique position. The way we use our tight ends and receivers in this offense is different than every other position or every other offense in the league. And I think that 100% we definitely got the upper hand because of all the madness and the minds that we have in the building.
Listen, man, it's cool when possible GOATs call you the GOAT. So listen, hearing Tony Gonzalez, who was right there, bro, did some legendary stuff. I battled against you guys for a while being in Denver. Yeah. And then you have Antonio Gates. You have Shannon Sharp, Uncle Shannon, saying that, no, that is the GOAT. Even Rob Gronkowski came out and said the same thing. You're 34, bro. If y'all win the Super Bowl this year, are you coming back? And how long are you going to do it?
I'll tell you what, man, I live day to day, man. I love coming into this building, and I appreciate you saying that, man. That means a lot because those guys that you just named, I got all the love and all the respect in the world for those guys' games, and obviously all the love and respect for you, Marsh. But every situation is different in the league, and I've been blessed that I've been here, been able to be fortunate enough to be on the field more times than not. And like I said, like I was talking about earlier, getting those kind of opportunities. I'm gonna keep enjoying coming into the building. I said it a few months ago. I'm gonna try and play until the wheels fall off. Who knows when the wheels fall off? Right. It's different for everybody. And as long as I'm still going out there getting 7 catches for 180 and a touchdown, you're gonna probably see me keep coming back.
Listen, you're one of the ones that's going to transition nicely. You're actually doing it while you're in your prime, and that's what I always tell younger guys. It's like whatever you want to do post-career, do it in your prime. So you're already doing that. But I will say, bro, there's nothing like running out of that tunnel. I've never experienced the Super Bowl, so like you only can tell us how that felt. But like, yes, keep doing it, man, because it's such an honor and a blessing and a privilege and an amazing feeling to do what you're doing. So I agree with where you're at right now.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, on the topic of that, I mean, when did you decide, at what point in your career did you decide, like, okay, now is the time that I can start parlaying into other things? We saw you on the cover of Vanity Fair. You did SNL, which was phenomenal.
It's ridiculous.
You're in every commercial. We've seen you, out and about, different events. I mean, when did you decide, okay, I feel like I've conquered enough of football. There's a lot more to conquer, but I'm good here. I can start venturing out to other places.
Well, I think the biggest thing is it was always, that was one of the goals of me coming into the NFL was making sure, that the NFL is short career for everybody. So it can't be your final destination, so to speak. So getting out from under the face mask and into somebody's living room and to try and gather that following or get a brand about yourself in the right way or present a brand the right way. I think that was always one of the main goals for me coming into the league. And then on top of that, balancing is he doing too much off the field? Is he not focusing on football? I've always been a football first kind of guy. When I come in the building, I am focused on winning football games and coming in and just being the best teammate I possibly can. And I never want that perception to be deterred. And I think I just, I have fun with getting out and going to all these events and meeting people and being in front of a camera like I did on SNL. I enjoy all of that. So it's just kind of been like a slow transition into what opportunities I can get myself into. And just kind of, juggling the balance of always making football the first and the main goal and everything else kind of secondary for when my career is over.
So being a professional football player, right, or professional athlete, we all alphas for the most part. And we feel like when we on our game, there's nobody out there that's going to stop us, right? But what guy would you say when you face him, like, man, I know I'm in for a long one because him, and I got to go against him out here?
Man, that's a good question. I'll tell you what, man, nothing. I think early on in my career, and I'm patting you on the back because you were a part of this too, was going up against that defense my first couple years in the league.
It was true.
In practice every single day, and like that defense was one of the most unbelievable group of men that I'd ever seen assembled in a locker room. And with you, Eric Berry, Justin Houston, Tamba, DJ, the list just keeps going on. There was. What'd you say?
I said, "Woo!" I went up against you. Said Tom. I said, "Woo!"
So that's what I'm saying. There was a lot of action going on my first really 3 to 4 years in the league, just in the building. And when I tell you that's going up against that kind of talent every single day, it gave me confidence to realize I can't tell you if I actually go into a game nervous or kind of have any doubt. I got all the confidence that our game plan and the technique and just how I go about things that we're going to find a way to get not only win the game but have some success.
Yo, so we had this debate. I think it was yesterday. On our show. Will Patrick Mahomes catch Brady? Will he eclipse him as the GOAT? Keep it real, bro. Let's say, hold on. Okay, cool. I thought you was gonna give me a diplomatic answer because you're still playing ball.
No, that's my guy, man. Ahead. That's my guy. I see it every single day. I obviously I got all the respect for Tom Brady. I wasn't able to get him in the playoffs, so I've been Tom Brady multiple times in my career. So I got all the love for him, and he is the GOAT and the best to ever do it. But I think right now the rate that Pat is at, how he's doing it, I think it's a little bit more all on Pat than it was on Brady. At least Brady's first couple years to where Pat is now. And that's only going to keep evolving, and it's only going to keep going up. And I just think, 1-5 has an ability to just find a way to get things done, even when it breaks down or, he's got to make this crazy throw across field. And that's just something you just haven't seen in the NFL. And he's been doing it since his first snap. And I think he's going to play a long, long time. So I think he'll catch him in all the accolades. But I think the biggest thing is always going to be those Super Bowls, man. That's a lot of Super Bowls.
How many Super Bowls is he going to have when it's all said and done?
Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I'm going to try and get him another one this year, though.
Okay, I love that. Good
answer.
Listen, Deion Sanders is in the news a lot, and I heard that Straight to My Feet is one of your pregame songs, or it was once upon a time. Is it still the case?
It's still, yeah. I got my game day playlist. It's really what I'm feeling, but Straight to My Feet. I mean, Primetime is one of the best to ever do it, both in all aspects of life. I mean, he absolutely just thrives, and it's the way he carries himself. And I think that song right there is I don't know, it kind of puts an aura around him that I really, I can really understand. And I'm all about the kicks too. So I guess that has something to do with it as well. But yeah, Primetime, he gets me right before the games for sure.
How much are you loving what he's doing for college football in Colorado right now?
I haven't watched this much college football close to since I was in college. And he's got me excited about every single matchup he goes up against. He's just bringing what he brings to everything, and that's energy and just good vibes. And you just want to be a part of it, man. Or at least you want to witness it and see where it's going to go. And you know what? I got all the faith that he's going to find a way to keep winning over there.
So Kelce, let's remove you out of this conversation right now, right? So, we always admire and watch all the players around the league. Who are your top 3 dangerous weapons in the league right now?
Oh, dangerous weapons. I mean, I'd be silly not to say Tyreek Hill, man. I was saying it from the day that he got here in Kansas City. Like, if you don't have this guy on your fantasy team, you need to pick him up right now. I mean, the guy he's a touchdown waiting to happen every single snap. The most electrifying player I've ever played with or ever even seen with the ball in his hands. So Tyreek is by far, I mean, he's always been up here as number 1 weapon the NFL's ever seen, let alone right now in the league. Who else would it be up there? Man, I'll tell you what. I'll keep the rest in the tight end row. George Kittle doesn't get enough targets, man. I've said it for a long, long time. Kittle, who he is with the ball in his hands is unbelievable. He's a running back at 250 pounds. It doesn't make any sense that he doesn't get 7 to 10 targets a game. He's notorious for like almost leading the league in yards after catch. And it's I think their offense would be that much better if you get an 85 to ball. Who else is that? And then Mark Andrews, man. Mark Andrews can get open any coverage, any way possible. It's such a unique offense over there. And he's kind of like the madness that ties the run and the pass together. He can do it all. And he never gets enough love, man. He had a pretty good game this last game with 2 tutties. So I'm gonna say those 3.
Y'all tight ends stay together.
There's obviously plenty of talent out there. Say it again.
There you go. I love that.
He said, "Y'all tight ends stick together."
Oh yeah, forever, baby.
So listen, Trev. Man, I'm big into mental health. I'm a feel guy, right? I'm a feel guy.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel when Aaron Rodgers, right? Like I'm watching the game. I'm watching the game. Jets, versus the Chiefs. It's in New York, MetLife Stadium. Before the game, I see this beautiful shot of you guys embracing each other. You're going over there showing them love. You're a field guy too. And then all of a sudden after the game, he's on the Pat McAfee show, and then he takes a shot at you. How did you feel?
I didn't think it was as much of a shot. I think it was he has his ways. He has his thoughts, how he feels about things and he has the right to have that. It's up to how you feel about certain things. It's up to you, man. To each his own. And I think he was just having fun with it. But I'm no debater, man. You're not going to see me up here, going to a great debate against Aaron Rodgers over something like that. I think it's all fun and games, and at least between us. And I got all the respect for him. And before the game, man, I was just making sure he knew that we all were excited to see what was going to go down at the Jets. I think it was a fun opportunity for everybody. How he presented himself on Hard Knocks and how the team was kind of, had some excitement going into the season. It was just it was a dagger when he went down with the calf deal or the Achilles.
So when you guys see the Jets in the playoffs, will we see another embrace like that before the game?
Jets not making.
I mean,
the Jets got to get there first.
I see him before the game. If I see him today, I'll go up to him and say what's up and laugh about it. I'm sure, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows what he might take a shot at me just because he knows I'm going up against him. I don't know. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows if this thing keeps going?
I think the Jets got to get there first.
Yeah,
That's
they
a fair
definitely not
assessment,
making the
right?
playoffs. You can't say that.
Stop hating.
Kelce, you can't say that, but the Jets not making the playoffs.
They not getting
bro.
there. Let's just be honest. But listen, in case people were unaware, there's another Super Bowl champion in the family. Your brother Jason, who is the starting center for the Philadelphia Eagles, who also are rocking and rolling right now. I personally believe the best center in the NFL. I feel like that's a fair assessment. You guys also have your podcast together, which is doing numbers. So we're going to play a little game of who's better, but we need honest answers only, okay? Honest answers only. Who is the better athlete?
I mean, pound for pound, Jason's faster, stronger, more physical. He's got some elusiveness to him a little bit. And I would say probably played, I don't know. I can make an argument for me, but I'm going to give it to Jason.
Okay. Who is the better dresser?
Me all day. Jason can't figure out what to wear ever. He's wearing flip-flops in the snow type stuff. He's a Neanderthal when it comes to putting things on.
But I heard you say it takes you 3 hours to pick out your game day outfit.
No, see, that was taken out of context. They asked me, when do you start to think about what you're gonna wear? And I said, I'm not thinking about it the day before, the night before. I'm just, showing up. I might look at my closet, start like 3 hours before I have to be at the stadium or something. This is more often just like I like the creative rush I get from procrastinating.
Okay.
Oh.
Who is the better dancer?
Man, everybody sees me dance, but when you get Jason, like he's a wedding dancer. You get him at a wedding, he just cuts it loose. He takes over the dance floor. He gets pretty wild. So I'm gonna say Jason. Like that's his like hidden talent.
All right, and lastly, who is funnier?
Jason, by far. I get most of the humor I get is because of that guy. I think if you just watch New Heights, you'll figure out, that he's definitely the funny one, the comedian in the family.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if you guys saw, but Jason giving Travis the rundown of Twilight was hilarious. Like he had it pound for pound, knew every single movie, and Travis could not be any less interested. It was actually very funny.
He's a maniac.
At one point, he was talking to himself. We're gonna let you.
Sure.
We're gonna let you go in a few minutes, but Brandon, I know you got something.
Yeah, I called Cap on Kelce when he talked about, starting to think about his outfit 3 hours before. But then, I understood it when you said, well, I like the creative rush that it gives me. I consider you, damn, bro, I don't know. It's hard. You're definitely top 3 dressed.
Okay.
In the NFL, you're top 3, but I want to hear your top 5 dressed.
Man. I mean, Odell he's always up there at number 1 for me, man. The guy puts it together. Who else does? Stephon Diggs is another one. My guy Chris Jones puts it together pretty well. I'm gonna keep it in Kansas City too and go Harrison Butker. You ever seen Harrison Butker get ready for a game? Go ahead and that is a dapper gentleman right there, and I believe it's all his brands as well. And then a sneaky one. Smith in Philadelphia. Devontae.
Yes. Oh, I see. Yep.
Just a smooth, I haven't seen too much of him this year, but I remember last year he was coming with the full ensembles, making it all make sense with the suit game. And I definitely respect that.
Yeah, Smitty can put it on. Yeah, he's slender, so he can wear those like really European cut suits. But Travis, we want to wish you a absolutely amazing rest of the season, a healthy season. We know you kind of been battling a little situation, so we want to send you positivity, and we hope to see you at the Super Bowl, not at Radio Row, but on the field.
All right now.
That's right.
All right now. You already know. I appreciate that, guys.
Thank you. You're a stand-up guy, man. A lot of guys in your position won't take the time to jump on a show like this. We're building, bro. You guys are entrepreneurs. You guys got so many things going, so you understand it. You get it. So just want to say thank you, man, for just being a man in your word and blessing us with this day.
My dog. Listen, you already know it's always love and respect. Flo, man, it's good to see you, big dog.
Always, bro. Always.
Have a good one.
Love.
Bye.
Peace, guys.
Yep.
All right, y'all. So we are going to take a little bit of a break, and we will be right back with Stak and some more NFL talk. And maybe Brandon will stick around. We won't know, but we'll find out. See you in a few.
You said something about MJ before, though.
What did I say?
Like, if he played now,
he wouldn't do what he was doing.
Yeah, he would be looked at like amongst the other greats, but he wanted to stand out like.
Oh no. This is gonna be a fact. This is gonna be a fact.
I love it.
Now we talking. I've been waiting for you to
right here. I love Gil, dog.
I love him. That's the only thing I don't like. He be saying.
Come on, let him
get
get
it
off.
He said it's a fact. Okay,
this is pure fact, right? If we take MJ,
Michael Jordan,
take LeBron, Michael Jordan,
okay,
and we switch them in eras, boom. Michael Jordan's personality, the way he lived his life, he will not be perfect like LeBron is.
I mean,
in this,
we talking about on the court. I don't know about
no. Whoa, when you talking about your whole package,
dog.
When we're talking
I'm
about
not doing that.
No.
I don't do that.
When we're talking about Ja Morant and the silly he's doing, and that's tarnishing his legacy. You take MJ's personality to the gambling, all that, and put it in this scrutiny. No,
that's every player.
He is not MJ.
That's every player, bro.
Not LeBron.
Well, I'm the same.
Whoa.
Okay, so
LeBron didn't have a ticket in his era.
LeBron,
you put him in an era where you don't. There's no media.
I know.
He ain't got a ticket,
bro.
He don't have a ticket.
LeBron, there's nobody like LeBron. LeBron is the best role model we've ever seen in any sport.
But that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. This is where I push back because we.
But if you, but I'm talking about.
You get in personal business.
I'm talking about but we're talking about a image that we see.
I'm not saying a player. I'm saying him as a basketball player. Magic was sleeping with all type of women.
Didn't know about it.
Jordan was gambling.
But that's us.
If you put them in it, you can do. It's any era, bro. We all have baggage. I'm talking about basketball. I don't get in.
But you can't do basketball.
Yeah, bro.
You can't do it.
It's a total package.
Yeah, you telling me y'all stopping? You telling me the 80s and the 90s is stopping a 6'10", 260 man coming downhill. He is the biggest person on the court. Dennis Rodman and them were 210.
I'm talking about MJ. I don't want to mix up the conversation. I want the viewers to know we're talking about Michael Jordan. I don't know about him gambling. I'm talking about him as a basketball player.
If he's in this era?
If he's in this era, he's just going to be a good player, right?
No. He'd be dominant.
Will he be just as dominant back then? Would he like now?
Yes.
Okay. So I thought you said okay. Then we're on the same page. I thought I heard you say something because I like when you take
No.
Your takes be like you feel it. I like how you be speaking your mind.
There's certain players. Like there's certain players that are just generational. Yeah. So when you talking about like a person like Michael Jordan, his abilities over exceed his errors because he was the caviar. Yeah. So when you're talking about 6'6" guards, hands, explosiveness, jumping 46-inch verticals, since they've been doing verticals, there's only one player that's topped his vertical. That's Zach LaVine. That's it. Now you're talking about Zach LaVine jumping ability with a Russell Westbrook takeoff, with a Kobe swag.
Right.
That's a whole.
So we're on the same page then. Okay, cool.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Travis was amazing.
Always, man.
Yeah, you know him pretty well.
That's
I was waiting to hear the story. Like, you didn't give us any stories. Like,
I mean, I thought we was on a time crunch, but we'll have him back on. It's all good.
We could have had this. What was the story you were going to tell?
I'm gonna save it.
Wow.
I can't tell it without Trav.
I waited all day yesterday and was like, no, Brandon, we can't hear the story today because B-Flow's gonna share it tomorrow, and tomorrow's here, and now I don't have the story.
He gotta be present. I promise you. Hey, when they go to the Super Bowl this year, we're going to make it happen.
I should have been a Hall of Fame tight end. Anyway, we're going to dive back into some basketball because the NBA season is officially back. Brandon, I hope you've been doing your homework because my time to shine has officially arrived. But we're going to talk some...
Hold on. I have, Ashley, because you ain't cooking me like you cooked me last year.
We'll see.
Ashley had me in the blender.
We'll see. Listen, we're going to talk some NBA MVP. Now, despite being the defending champion, Nikola Jokic is it's no surprise, rather, that the reigning champion, Jokic, is the favorite to win the MVP this year. Also in that conversation, Giannis, Luka, and Jason Tatum. So while we wait for Stak to come back, I mean, B-Flow, I'll start with you. Who are you feeling about MVP this year?
Ooh. You know who I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with Kevin Durant.
Ooh.
I'm going to throw a name out there that nobody ever puts in the MVP category, but they know he has MVP, capability.
That's a good point. We never really have KD, which is odd.
We never put him there. Yeah. But I think with adding Bradley Beal, with Devin Booker, they're going to be getting busy. It's just he's going to get buckets, and he's going to take this Phoenix team to new heights. I think they're going to be top 2 seeds in the West. And because they winning the way they winning, how he making it look so easy, I think KD is going to bring it on, being just the MVP of the league this year.
Interesting. All right, Brandon. Well, you know the Phoenix Suns are Brandon's NBA team this year. He already picked them.
B, you pick different teams every year.
He claimed them.
I mean, no.
Yes, you did, Brandon. You claimed the Phoenix Suns.
I'll wait till I'm back in studio to debate and argue with Ashley on that. But we're going to stay in the desert. And B-Flow, listen, bro, I respect your pick with KD, but that team is owned by Devin Booker. All you got to do is turn on the film from last year in the postseason, bro. Like this dude averaging damn near 38, 40 points a night. That's his team. And so like what you were talking about earlier, I was listening, B, and you was like, yo, I think Ashley asked you the question, does the Lakers have an opportunity to win it this year? And you said, well, if AD take over, right? Because LeBron, he had to pass the torch. And I feel like KD is still him, and he can easily win an MVP. But he's in this space that LeBron is on his team where it's like, yo, Devin, go lead the way. He ain't got to go for 35 every night because he got Devin Booker. And so I'm going to go with someone who's a dark horse. I'm going to go with Devin Booker as my MVP candidate early.
Interesting. I'm actually leaning towards Jokic or Giannis this year.
Jokic again?
Jokic didn't win it last year. Remember, Embiid won it.
Oh, yeah.
It was that whole argument about should he win it? Is he going to win it? Da-da-da-da. But I feel like this is a big man's award this year. I just feel it in my gut. I'm leaning towards Giannis. I'm leaning towards Jokic. I feel like they are such important pieces to their team that all eyes are going to be on them. And I think that we're going to see an even better version of Giannis, a more dominant version of Giannis, because he has the asset of Damian Lillard.
You have to pick one, Ashley.
If I had to pick one.
Yes, you have to pick one is your question.
I'm going to go Giannis.
Thank you.
I'm going to go Giannis. I'm going to go the Greek Freak. Freaky time in Milwaukee. There's Stak MVP vote. Who do you think is taking it this year? Is he back?
Oh, we lost him.
We lost him? No, we didn't lose him. He'll be in there in a second. Okay. Here we go. We'll wait until Stak comes back. We'll circle back to that one. But we're also going to dive into NBA champions. Now, the defending champions, the Denver Nuggets, currently have the 4th best odds to win the title, which is insane. I feel like we've never seen that. Usually when you win the finals, you're the favorite to win it again. So this is kind of an anomaly. Boston and Milwaukee right now have the best odds considering, all the acquisitions that they made. So who are you thinking? NBA champion this year. Who would you go ahead and take?
So,
go ahead, B. I'm going to let you go, B.
Listen, I'm not surprised by that, right? Like, it was scary what they did in the postseason last year. No team was hotter. And you can argue that, we've never seen, I won't say never, but how they just came together, gel, and just blew everybody out was a sight to see. But that's what it was. They just went on a crazy run. I don't think they were the best team last year. They just came together at the right time. And I don't think the competition, the field was that tough. It's tougher this year. And so for me, Ashley, you know where I'm going. I'm going to stay in the desert. Again, this is about shooting. It's like the NFL and the NBA is in the same spot. Who can score more? I know you want to talk about defense, and I ain't going to go debate you like I did last year around it. But I promise you, KD stay healthy. The Suns going to be right where they need to be. So that's what I'm going with as my finals winners.
Okay.
I'm actually leaning towards Boston this year. I think that Boston has always been just one piece away from really getting over that hump. I think that what they've been able to do with what they have is always impressive, and what they have is a lot. But I think that also the fact that they've been able to maintain chemistry with the same group of guys throughout the trials and tribulations of a season and off season. Sometimes you see big threes get broken up and they don't really get to amount to the level of success that was anticipated with them. And I think that being able to keep Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum together is huge because, the pieces around them will go ahead and change. You see Grant Williams leave, you see Robert Williams leave, but that tandem I think is so special. I think the addition of Drew Holiday gives them a defensive edge. I think the addition of Kristaps Porzingis gives them another offensive weapon. Like I said, you're going to have to figure out how to utilize him because he is not the player who's going to battle down low with like an Embiid or a Giannis or a Bam Adebayo. But I think that they've gotten better. I think that they've gotten better offensively. I think that they've gotten better defensively. Maybe they've taken a couple of notches defensively, but I still think they're in that range. I just think this is a really good basketball team. Like every single year, they're always in it. They're always in the conversation. I feel like this is the year they get it done.
I'm going to stay in the East, and I'm going to go Milwaukee. Whenever Giannis is healthy in the playoffs, you know he's going to be a problem. Like last year, he was banged up. Yeah, they got knocked out early. But when Giannis is healthy and he get into the basket, it literally seemed like nobody can stop him. And they should have just a clearer path to the Eastern Conference Finals. But we have to remember how special Damian Lillard is in the playoffs. When they do get in the playoffs, like he go crazy.
What time?
Yeah. And
Dame time.
He's clutch. They clutch kind of Wade guy. Like in the clutch, you can give Dame the ball and you can move out the way. Like the floor will be spread out. And I just think it's a good aura in Milwaukee right now.
Like
Giannis signed his 3-year deal. Like they ready to go.
Defensively, I'm a little worried because Drew Holiday was such a huge part of their defense. I do think that it's fallen off a little bit. So I don't believe. I know Brandon and I we get into this conversation a lot. I'm a firm believer. I don't think that you can win on offense alone. I think that you need a strong defensive unit to go ahead, or defensive pieces rather, to go ahead and compete for a championship. Your shots aren't always going to fall. And we've seen that time and time again in many different situations. So I'm just going to be interested to see what they do to combat the defense they lost with Drew Holiday. Because offensively, I'm not worried. They're a big team. But can that convert to defense when you need it, when your shots aren't falling? That's the question mark for me.
Well, Portis, Lopez, and then you have
Dame doesn't play defense.
Dame don't play defense, but
Giannis
Middleton will play defense. Like that's enough. That's enough. With that scoring you have,
it's enough if you're going against a team that is defensively weak. But if you're going against a defensively strong team,
they have. I don't know. Nobody can stop Giannis. I feel like getting to the basket.
Brook Lopez, I'm not worried about him. He was, I believe, top in blocks or something last year. So I'm not worried about him.
Portis go scrap.
Drew Holiday was a major component for them on their defensive side, and they lost that. So I'm going to be interested how they fill that void. It's going to be something that you definitely are going to have to watch out. Like I said, November 22nd, we have the Bucks and the Celtics facing off for the first time since that trade. So it's going to be a must-see TV. Brandon, LeBron, is he going to get it done in the West this year?
Hell no. He can't get it done, and it sucks. It sucks because I'm such, I love like following stories and seeing people defy the odds. And so LeBron has been chasing Jordan, or we believe he's been chasing Jordan, right? And so he's sitting at 4. And, man, if you go back over his career, there's a couple of series where you're like, man, he could easily have 6 right now or 7 right now. But you can say the same for a lot of these guys that compete at a high level for championships year in and year out. But I say that, Ashley, because you got LeBron and you got AD. Now, I do believe if AD stay healthy, they're going to be okay. But then Christian Wood, Rui, did I say his name correctly? D'Lo, right? Vanderbilt.
Rui Hachimura,
It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough compared to the firepower these other teams have. And you saw LeBron. I heard you earlier, Ashley, where you're like, well, LeBron's showing no signs of slowing down. I would argue that we saw
I didn't say that. That was B-Flow.
No, you said it when you introduced him. You said, well, Savannah, the Beats by Dre commercial. You was like, he's 21 season.
I was just reading the copy.
And they try to throw it on me.
Yeah, but it's like, look
just
at
reading
how
the
many
copy.
games he's been missing over the last few years, right? And he's been banged up, and then, he was averaging like 20 points last year in the postseason, I believe. That's not the LeBron that we were accustomed to seeing. So I don't think he needs that to be dynamic and to win a championship. I just think he needs, 1 or 2 more other pieces around him and AD, and that's a healthy AD at that. And B, you're not a betting man. I don't know if you betting on AD, man. You talking about that? Well, that's his goal. That's his goal.
I mean, I'm just that's his goals he's throwing out. So.
Well, listen, before we end the show, most interesting man in the NBA. Now, there is no shortage of interesting characters when it comes to the National Basketball Association. What will we get from Zion? John Morant has his suspension. What will he be like when he returns? Obviously, Victor Wembanyama is the hype real. We were going crazy for him during the summer league and the draft process and everything in between. Who is the most interesting man in the NBA for you? All eyes are going to be on him this season.
I'm going to go with Ja because just 2 years ago, we looked for Memphis to rival Golden State as being the top dog in the Western Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. And it's just everything that happened off the field just became a distraction, right? I want to see when he returned, because he's such a flashy player. He's the guy that you can turn the TV on and you just love to see him jump high, get his team going, dancing on the sideline. Like, what Ja is going to come back? Like, you going to be the fiery Ja to come back, or you going to be rusty, and it's kind of like you're trying to feel your way back.
He's 23 years old. He ain't going to be rusty.
Being out of the game, though, and then, all the headlines coming into it, it's just like,
Right.
I don't know. I just want to see how it will affect him. So, for me, it's going to be Ja.
I'm going to have to go with
Russell Westbrook.
What?
Go
Oh,
ahead, Ash, sorry. Go
why?
ahead.
Why is it Russell Westbrook for you? Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Listen. You gotta listen, Linda. You gotta listen. Russell Westbrook's press conference, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? You know what I mean? The confidence of him still having it. You seeing the pop and the juice in his legs, and he's in a situation where Kawhi's not going to be there half the year, and Paul George. He may take a couple days here and there, but I do believe Paul George, when he's available, he's going to be there. So what does that leave? That leaves a void for another superstar to come in and literally lead the way. He can be himself. You go back to like when he was good. He was able to dominate the ball. He couldn't do that in LA. He couldn't do that in Houston with James Harden. But you go to Russell Westbrook in Washington with the Wizards. You go to him in Oklahoma, and he's ball dominant. He's him. So everybody has written off this guy. But I'm telling you right now, Russell Westbrook is going to have a phenomenal year, big year. So, and he always has this intriguing personality. So that's why I'm going with Russell Westbrook.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Wemby. I think that all eyes are going to be on him this season. There are going to be a lot of people that want to see if he's a bust. There are going to be a lot of people who want to see how his game translates to the American game. Obviously, coming from France, how that transition is going to be in his first year, how he's going to be utilized. I think also how he's going to battle against some of the other big men in the league. We talk about Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, Adebayo, how he matches up against them. One of the critiques is that he is frail in size. He has put on some muscle in the offseason. Obviously, he's not drastically bigger, but I think that's going to be the biggest question mark is, how he battles against those guys. So I feel like he's the most interesting man in the NBA this season. Before we close out the show, I got to do some predictions. We have a rematch of the Nuggets and the Lakers Western Conference Finals. Who are you taking to win this one? B-Flaw, I'll start with you.
I'm going LA. Bron them go come out hot. AD go come out and dominate. First game of the season, AD always is AD, right? It's always when you get a couple games in. So the Lakers going to be hot coming out, so I'm going with them.
All right. What you got, Brandon?
What's the game? Sorry.
It's Nuggets. It's Nuggets and Lakers.
Okay, the rematch. Man, listen. Damn, the Nuggets might still be making baskets. They still might be hot. I don't know, man. That was crazy how they ran through everybody last year. I'm going to go with the Nuggets. I don't think they're going to repeat. But, man, what they were able to do last year was special in the postseason. So I'm going to go with the Nuggets, man. Joker is he's a cheat code. Like, everybody was scared of Joker. He's poking everybody. He's like the bully in the playground. AD was shaking his head last year like, there's nothing I can do, coach. Like, I put my hand in his face. Remember that moment, Ashley?
I'm gonna go Lakers as well. I think that usually ring ceremonies and after winning the chip and all that stuff is a little bit it's a little bit emotional. It's a little bit of a drag, a little bit of a hangover, if you will. So I'm actually gonna go Lakers. Actually, it's in Denver.
No, don't switch up now. No, don't switch up now.
No, wait. I forgot it was in Denver. I'm actually going to go Nuggets. I'm going to switch it up. That altitude is no joke. That's a real thing.
LA coming to play.
Real quick. We got Suns. We got Warriors. Bradley Beal will not be playing. Devin Booker is questionable. Who do you have?
I'm going Warriors. They will come out. Splash Brothers go do their thing. You go see the poise of Chris Paul. Warriors, it's going to be easy. I don't think it's going to be close.
Okay. Who you got, Brandon, real quick?
Yeah. This is tough. Y'all know who I'm going with. I'm standing in the desert. But, the Warriors, it's just like I think Chris Paul's just going to fit in seamlessly. He goes understand his role, and I think they're going to come out. They're going to come out hot.
And I am definitely going to go ahead and go Warriors as well. I think Bradley Beal, no Devin Booker, possibly. It's going to be felt. It's going to be unfortunate because you want to see them in the opening game, right? But it is what it is. Listen, thank you guys so much for joining us on Paper Route. If you're listening on Sirius XM Faction Talk 103, we thank you. And if you want to go ahead and see everything that happens behind the scenes, make sure you check out the I Am Athlete YouTube page to check out the live stream of the show. Travis Kelce, Stak, everybody who came through, we thank you so much again. And we'll be back tomorrow. It's my favorite day. It's hump day. We'll see ya. Bye.